It all started with a gut feeling. Sophie had been dating Ryan for almost 2 years. They had met in college, fallen in love quickly, and built a relationship that felt strong and unbreakable. Ryan was charming, sweet, and always knew how to make her smile. They spent weekends watching movies, going on road trips, and dreaming about their future together. Sophie truly believed she had found the one. But lately something felt off. Ryan had become distant. He would cancel plans at the last minute, spend more time on his phone, and avoid answering simple questions about his day. He still told her he loved her, but there was something in his eyes, something hidden. And then there was Emily. Emily was Ryan's childhood best friend. Sophie had always known about her, but they were never close. Emily was beautiful, confident, and always seemed to be around. She and Ryan had inside jokes, shared childhood memories, and a bond that Sophie sometimes felt she could never match. At first, Sophie told herself she was overthinking. Ryan and Emily were just friends. But then, the signs started appearing. Ryan would smile at his phone whenever Emily texted. He started mentioning her more in conversations. Whenever they all hung out together, Sophie felt like an outsider. And then, the worst part, one night, Ryan accidentally called Sophie by Emily's name. That was when the doubt turned into suspicion. Sophie decided to find out the truth. One evening, she told Ryan she had plans with a friend, but instead she went to Emily's house. She parked a few houses away and waited. Her heart pounded as she watched the front door. After about an hour, her worst fear came true. Ryan arrived. She expected pain, maybe even anger, but what she felt was something else, determination. She wasn't going to cry. Not yet. She needed to know the full truth. She waited until Ryan left, then went to Emily's door and knocked. Emily looked shocked to see her, but quickly tried to act normal. "Oh, hey, Sophie. What are you doing here?" Emily said, forcing a smile. Sophie didn't waste time. "I know Ryan was here," she said firmly. "Tell me the truth, Emily. Are you seeing him?" Emily hesitated, her face turning pale. Then, after a long pause, she sighed. "It's not what you think," she said quietly. Sophie crossed her arms. "Then explain it to me." Emily took a deep breath and invited Sophie inside. "Ryan and we have history," she admitted. "We dated before you ever met him." Sophie's stomach dropped. "What?" Emily nodded. "It was years ago, before college. We broke up, but we stayed friends." Sophie frowned. "And now? What's happening now?" Emily looked down at her hands. "Ryan came over because he's confused. He says he loves you, but he still has feelings for me." Sophie felt like the air had been knocked out of her lungs. So it was true. Ryan had been emotionally torn between them. He wasn't just distant. He was debating who he wanted to be with. And worst of all, he hadn't told her. Sophie stood up, her body shaking. "So what now?" she asked. "Are you waiting for him to choose?" Emily looked guilty. "I don't want to hurt you, Sophie. I told Ryan he needs to make a decision." Sophie let out a bitter laugh. "He already made a decision when he started sneaking around behind my back," She turned and walked toward the door. Emily didn't stop her. That night, Sophie waited for Ryan to call. He didn't. The next day, she decided she wouldn't wait any longer. She went to his apartment, knocked on the door, and when he answered, she asked one simple question. "Do you love her?" Ryan froze. "Sophie, Yes or no?" she interrupted. Ryan sighed, rubbing his face. "I love you, but I have feelings for Emily too." That was all she needed to hear. Sophie nodded, her heart breaking. "Then this is over." Ryan's eyes widened. "Sophie, wait. I don't want to lose you." "But you were willing to risk me," she said softly. "I deserve better than being someone's second choice." She turned and walked away, not looking back. "For days," she cried. It hurt knowing the man she loved had betrayed her trust, but it also felt like a weight had been lifted. She realized something important. If Ryan truly loved her, he never would have let himself have feelings for someone else. 1 week later, she saw a picture online. Ryan and Emily holding hands. It stung, but only for a moment. Then, Sophie smiled to herself. Ryan may have been confused about his feelings, but Sophie was not. She knew her worth, and she knew that one day she would find someone who chose her without hesitation. And that was the kind of love she truly deserved.